The progenitor creche on Xylos fell silent as the Cathar raiders tore through the final airlock, their heavy forms blotting out the corridor lights. They were titans of chitin and blade, apex predators whose very name silenced cantinas across the spiral arm. Inside, the last clutch of xylotl cubs, shimmering forms of pure energy, pulsed with rising fear. From a remote command station, the Galactic Conservancy Council watched the monitors in grim resignation. They had sent warriors and machines to guard this creche before, and all had failed. Now their last defender was a single, soft-skinned creature from a forgotten world. The head of the council narrowed his multiple eyes with skepticism. In all his cycles, he had never seen such an inadequate guardian assignment. This human was a botanist, stranded by chance, not a warrior chosen for skill. How could one possibly protect the cubs from the Cathar? The lead Cathar, a brute named Vorlog, let out a grating sound of amusement. "We have broken the fleets of the Cygnian Empire. Your posturing is meaningless." But the human, Alex, didn't move. Their calm demeanor was unchanged. "You've made a terrible mistake," Alex said, the voice carrying none of the terrified undertones the council expected. "You think this is a job? You think you're here for a prize?" Vorlag tilted his massive head. "And what are you here for?" Alex's eyes met the predators, and on the command station's biometric feed, the council saw the human's heart rate remain steady, their expression hardening into something the Cathar had never encountered. "I'm a parent, and you just threatened my kids." Just 2 months earlier, the council had wondered if the hiring committee had made a catastrophic error. Alex, a xenobotanist, was their last, desperate option. The xylotl cubs, whose cries could fracture minds, had driven previous guards insane. Yet human minds, for reasons their science couldn't explain, seemed strangely resilient. The offer was simple: guard the creche temporarily for a ticket home, back to their own family. Alex, believing it to be a simple monitoring task, had agreed. For the first week, it was a boring, lonely job. But Alex, hardwired by millions of years of evolution, began to respond in a way no previous guardian had. The council observed with growing bewilderment as something unprecedented occurred. Alex didn't maintain sterile distance. The human spoke to the cubs in soft tones, hummed old Earth lullabies, and even overrode protocol to project simulated starlight on the ceiling. When one cub cried out in distress, Alex, acting on pure instinct, reached into its energy field. Instead of a bio-alarm, the cub quieted, pulsing gently against Alex's hand. The council's remote sensors registered the change with confusion. The cubs' stress levels had plummeted to near zero. They were thriving. The human was breaking dozens of rules, yet achieving impossible results. The test came with the shriek of a planetary defense alarm. Cathar, infamous predator collectors, drawn to the unique energy of the cubs. The creche's defenses were neutralized with contemptuous ease. "The asset is considered lost," flashed the final message from High Command. They had written them off, the cubs, and their disposable human guard. But in the nursery, Alex felt the psychic wave of the Cathar's approach, and where others felt paralyzing terror, the human mind, shaped by millennia of protecting its young, felt something else entirely: protective fury. Alex used the final 10 minutes not to flee, but to prepare. This wasn't a fortress, but it was a nursery and a lab. It was Alex's domain. What followed became legend in the Conservancy archives. The human didn't fight like a warrior or a predator. They fought like something far more dangerous, a parent protecting their children. The first Cathar was met with a high-pressure nutrient sprayer, blinding its optical sensors. A soil-sterilizing laser became a surgical tool, carving through unarmored joints. The predators were stunned. This wasn't the panicked flailing of a cornered animal. It was targeted, vicious, and shockingly effective. They couldn't understand the motivation. Why would a creature this fragile fight with such ferocity for the offspring of another species? When his ammunition was gone, Alex used the environment, fashioning a tripwire from diagnostic cable and discharging a canister of flash-freezing nitrogen into a warrior's face. Vorlag, enraged, finally cornered the bleeding human against a wall. "Your devotion is irrational," he roared. Alex looked up, eyes holding no fear, only a burning certainty. With a final act of will, Alex slammed a button for the emergency sanitation. Protocol. A wave of high-frequency sonics and hard UV radiation flooded the room. Harmless to the shielded cubs, but pure agony for the Cathar's sensitive biology. When the Conservancy recovery team finally breached the nursery, they found Alex sitting against the wall, bleeding from multiple wounds but very much alive. The 27 cubs had arranged themselves in a protective circle around the human, their light pulsing with the deep blue-green of absolute loyalty. And the Council High Commander, watching the security logs, finally understood why one of the galaxy's softest species had somehow produced its most formidable protectors. Humans didn't just guard with strength or skill, they guarded with an emotional bond other species couldn't comprehend. Alex was offered medals and a position of honor. They turned it all down for a ticket home. The galaxy had learned a new and vital truth. Sometimes the most powerful force in the universe isn't a supernova or a fleet of starships. Sometimes it's just showing someone that you are willing to stand between them and the dark.